Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Covenant Army Podcast, where our mission is to equip couples to align with God and win the daily battle raging against marriage and family. I am Brent, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Miss Lucy.
Hello, everyone.
We're so excited to have everyone with us today because we're going to be talking about a topic today that I think can relate to anyone that has ever been in a relationship.
I believe so. Absolutely.
It's the topic of complacency.
Specifically, complacency in marriage.
Specifically.
Yeah, because that's where it can really cause some trouble. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people, because of complacency, some people have divorced instead of addressing the issue.
It's absolutely true.
So definitely.
Even I think it could apply to some people that might even be dating on the road to marriage where they've gotten kind of complacent. Hopefully not.
Well, okay. So I can't really agree with that point. And
tell me why.
And let me tell you why. Because if you're becoming complacent in just your boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, and I don't think you're headed to marriage.
But what if that's a red flag, which we talked about in a previous podcast? Like we're not really moving down the road and we become kind of complacent. It might be, No,
it would be helpful for them. I'm just saying that a lot of people that become complacent in the boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, sometimes they're not really talking about getting married.
Good point.
This could help them.
Well, let's see if it does.
All right.
So let me find my screen here because I am all over the place.
Well, so today, again at the gym, start looking around and, see people really into getting fit.
Yes.
And then it just...
Well, that is why they're there. Hopefully you're not there.
Some people are there to look cute in their workout outfits.
That's another podcast because we need to cover that down too.
But anyway.
You need to be dressed to go to the gym. It's wrong. I'm pretty sure it's a sin in the Bible somewhere if we can find it. I'm just saying.
So, point was that it made me think about some of those folks that get divorced and then they hit the gym to get their swag on. I'm just saying.
What's that mean, get your swag on?
You're trying to get fit, trying to look good.
Yep.
Trying to just get impressive again, so to speak.
Put your game face back on.
I guess. And
your best foot forward.
What bothers me about that.
Shining up and looking good.
It bothers me because why didn't you do that mess when you were still married?
That's a good point.
You could have probably avoid paying all this money for a divorce.
Could have probably and should have probably. You might have not got a divorce if you would have.
I was gonna say.
I'm just saying. But
it made me think about how when we first get started in relationships, everybody's all shined up and pretty, smelling good, talking right, serving one another, going out of their way for the other person. Yeah, to impress them. Like, you are looking good. Body's looking good,
Yeah.
And now?
Not so much.
Well, and I mean now,
well, people, let's just say what it is. They let themselves go.
Yeah, people let themselves go after a certain amount of time of being together, and they forget how they got together and why they got together, what attracted you to one another. And I don't want to be surface about this. Obviously, there's an attraction physically when you meet someone.
Prayerfully. Prayerfully.
There's usually more to it that leads you down the aisle to marriage. However...
Well, I just want to say, unless it's an arranged marriage and you've never seen this other person, then it possibly could have nothing at all to do with their looks, which in our culture in the U.S., I mean, I'm sure there probably is some arranged marriages in certain cultures, but it's not the norm, I would say.
That's a whole different podcast.
But go ahead with the whole not just surface level.
Well, and I don't want to sound like, we're just looking at the physical.
Well,
however,
we're going to dig way deeper than just physical.
Yeah, but for whatever crazy reason, people get married and after a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, they just stop caring about the way they look, stop eating right, they're not exercising anymore, they're not even really connecting anymore.
Well, they stop putting energy into the relationship.
Yeah.
And one of the articles that we're looking at today, where is this from, babe? Marriage.com?
Yeah, marriage.com.
Marriage.com. They had a good write-up, and in essence, it says, what is complacency in a relationship? I can't even talk. It says complacency in a relationship refers to a state of satisfaction or contentment that leads to a lack of effort, growth, or investment in the relationship.
Okay, so I want to address something before you keep going.
Yes.
It says it refers to a state of satisfaction or contentment. That might seem like a positive thing. You're satisfied, you're content in your relationship. However, it's almost like Deceptive, right? It's deceptive because it leads to a lack of effort and a lack of growth and a lack of investment in the relationship. So it's a little bit what you would call subtle how it starts to happen.
What's a good part here that it talks about, because it says in a complacent relationship, the meaning that partners have become comfortable and settle into a predictable routine.
Oof, and we see that so much with couples where...
What can happen to anyone, babe?
Well, of course, absolutely. Routines. Who doesn't have routines that start to happen?
Well, some routines are good.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we need routines for our kids. We need routines paying our bills. However, in our relationship and our marriage, some routines are good, but sometimes you got to get out of those routines.
Well, it says here that some of these routines can lead to neglecting the need for ongoing communication, emotional connection, and personal development. Which can result in a decline in intimacy, passion, and overall relationship satisfaction. We see that so much. I don't feel like a lot of couples can identify that they've become complacent. They start to think it's something else.
True.
But
I think, I'm sorry.
What I was going to say is it's very sneaky like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but I think that's why it's important to talk about it and identify the threat. Like here on the Covenant Army, we're all about, helping equip couples to align with God and win at the daily battle raging against marriages and family.
You like saying that?
I've got it programmed in my brain. But it's important because this is a battle that couples are facing daily. That
absolutely.
If you don't know you're in a battle, how are you going to know how to fight it?
Yeah.
If you don't know the enemy that you're fighting, how are you going to win?
Yeah, I understand.
And really looking at complacency because it's so prevalent in our society and in relationships. I think we're missing it, like you said. And I like the way this write-up says this as well. It says complacency in a relationship can be detrimental to its long-term health and validity.
Vitality.
I read it wrong. Vitality, I apologize. As it hinders growth and prevents addressing issues and may lead to feelings of stagnation or disconnection. That's huge. Stagnation or...
Yeah, being disconnected all the way around.
Like, that's big. So... how do we not do this? Like, where are we coming from in this? And I guess the first thing is to be able to identify that we are in that realm of complacency.
And that this is important because I said earlier, people I don't feel know how to identify this. They start thinking it's something else. But here's one of those things is all we do is talk about to-do lists or we got to take the kids here, there. It's what we like to call business conversations in a relationship. Like that's all that starts to happen. It's just like the business stuff within the relationship. All the things we got to get. Yeah. We got to go to the grocery store. We got to do laundry. We got to take the kids here and there. So that's kind of what the conversations encompass in the relationship.
They're not going deep anymore. They're just on a surface level.
Correct. One of the big things that we were just addressing, you don't dress up for each other anymore. You'll get dressed up if you're going out, hanging out with the girls, or you're going out with the boys. You're looking all nice and smelling good, but not really getting all fly for each other anymore.
So a lack of concern for personal grooming. A lack of concern for personal grooming.
I mean, wouldn't you say?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not brushing your teeth,
okay,
could be a problem. Just going to say.
I think that'd be a problem.
Well, I mean, that's going to cut down on intimacy, right?
100%. Who's
who wants to kiss someone
who doesn't brush your teeth?
That, it's a little rough.
It's a little nasty.
It's not going to really be inviting for that to happen. Taking a shower, like we need to take a shower, like for a guy, we sweat. That's what we do.
Well, I mean, women sweat too.
Well, it's a different kind of sweat.
Okay.
In my opinion.
We still need to be
sometimes
fresh.
Women sweat and they smell like flowers sweating.
Okay. That is such a guy thing. I don't know what's up, but listen.
But guys, come on, bro.
Yeah, okay. Guys have a different kind of funk. I understand.
It's a strong, musky.
Okay, let's just leave it
heavy.
I hope everybody's taking a shower regularly and making sure you smell fresh.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Personal grooming.
But a big one is showing appreciation. People stop showing appreciation.
Well, I think personal grooming is a way of showing appreciation. If you appreciate the other person, you're going to want to take care of yourself.
We'll see how all these tie together.
100%. 100%.
So yeah, these are just some of the things of what complacency can look like in the relationship.
Yeah, you start letting yourself go a little bit. You're not really maintaining yourself.
Yeah.
Another one here says that you say, I love you, and there's really no feeling and emotion behind it. Again, it's kind of that programming. Yeah, I say I love you, but not really saying it with conviction and with heart. And your spouse can tell. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not feeling that passion and that burning, when you say like those words, affirming words, and they're really not, doesn't have the heart behind it, it's not going to land well. It can actually backfire sometimes.
Yeah.
So what else you got, sweetie? How do we know if we're being complacent?
Well, hold on. We're not dating anymore. Date night is not a thing anymore. That's huge because a lot of married couples, again, they fall into the routine of kids, work, chores, and they don't date anymore.
Well, because they make a lot of excuses of why we're not dating. And the biggest excuse that we hear more than anything, I mean anything, we don't have time.
Yeah, we're too busy.
We don't have time to date. I'm sorry, guys. Like, we appreciate what you're saying, but not our schedule. It's just not going to make it. It's just not going to happen. Okay, have fun with that. It's not going to work well because everybody has the same amount of time. Everybody has 168 hours in the week.
Yep.
And you choose how you spend that time. Dating's important. You have to carve out that time to find that date. Find somewhere to find that time to connect. Otherwise, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. Date nights are a must to fight against complacency.
Which leads us to this next one. Loss of desire for sex.
Okay. I'll let you talk about that one.
That's huge.
Well, I don't understand this one, so you got to explain it to me. What's that look like?
I mean, if you guys aren't emotionally connecting, you ain't showering or taking care of your appearance, like you don't smell good, you're not looking good, you're not doing your hair anymore, you're not dressing up for each other, this is a no-brainer. There's going to be a loss of desire for sex. You're not going to have that desire to want to be together in that way, to be together in that way.
In that way, yes.
There's no surprise there. So, complacency, huge.
Well, I think, yeah, complacency is huge there for sure. So, another one is you're not desiring to share your experiences. You don't have any desire to share the experiences of what's going on in your life with your spouse.
That's basically becoming emotionally indifferent.
Yeah. That's a scary place to be in relationships.
It's sad. It's sad how many people fall into this.
Well, you get married because you want a best friend. You want someone closer than a brother
that you can share your life with.
Well, that's what sharing's about, right?
Having fun together, laughing together, having these shared experiences. So, if that's not happening, that's another sign, guys.
It is. This next one's a good one because I like the way it's said. It says that you are your worst self around each other a lot.
That's so terrible.
You are your worst self around each other a lot. And again, that's okay. You should be your best self when you're with your spouse. And what I mean is they're the most important person in your life. You are really putting out your best foot forward. You're trying really hard, right, with God's help, to be the spouse that they need.
I have to read this little part under this bullet point.
Really?
A part of true intimacy is being able to be at your worst and still feel accepted with your spouse.
That's good. I like that.
So, totally get that. However, if you notice you're always and exclusively this way with your partner, there is a chance you're becoming too comfortable.
I was going to say, that's a sign of being too comfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak to the ladies out there because it happens. Sweatpants or even leggings is not like super sexy.
Yoga pants, leggings,
pants, leggings. I know I'm old fashioned. I don't know.
To be wearing that stuff all the time.
I get it every once in a while. I mean, I like to wear sweatpants every now and then. But if they become like the primary wardrobe in your relationship, you might be becoming a little bit complacent. I'm just going to say it.
Totally understand that. I see that a lot. Like there's a lot of women that go out like that now in their house shoes.
And I want to speak to guys because our culture has really flipped upside down here as well. Like guys, get dressed up, get cleaned up. Like, come on, man. You can put a nice shirt on, a button-down shirt. Wear something that shows some kind of effort that you still want to impress your wife. Don't be lazy, right? Again,
that goes both ways.
It does go both ways.
So next one is feeling distant. Feeling distant. Okay. If you're not talking anymore, if you're not connecting emotionally, like really wanting to know about your partner, about your spouse, something's wrong. Something is wrong. Because the more you don't talk to each other, the more distance happens.
It's got really somber in here. It's almost like...
Well, because it's sad.
It is sad.
It's sad when a husband and wife are distant. They don't know how to talk to each other anymore. They don't know what to bring to each other anymore.
That's another one that I think, just us talking through this, like not really having conversation, not having a conversation to bring to each other, not being excited about bringing anything to each other.
Yeah.
That is a sad place. And I think probably that's why, we've been kind of laughing and joking through this, but getting to this place, that's real. Like when you guys aren't connecting on a deeper level.
Yeah, you don't feel like best friends anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're not best friends anymore. And you know why it's sad? Because as you get older, time is passing together, like you change with the seasons. There are new things always to share.
That's a good point.
With one another.
If you choose to.
Yeah. So something to look out for.
I think it's important also for us as husband and wife, like, the whole team mentality that we're always sharing with people. That's why it's important to have that spouse with you to help point out some of those things that you may be missing in the moment. Just kind of taking a pause and say, hey, did you recognize or did you see that? What did that mean to you? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah.
That can help also foster some of that connection, so you're not feeling so distant.
Yeah.
Because that's really like, two ships passing in the night. We're kind of just doing our own thing. We're living our own lives and we're never really connecting.
Sad place to be.
Yeah, it's very distant.
So next point.
The next point, feeling bored and settling.
Yee.
And I like it here. What do you do for fun as a couple? And we were talking about this in the gym today because gym, for us, is a place that we connect. Yes, we get physically fit, but it also helps us in our emotional fitness.
Yeah.
And even our spiritual fitness because we have a lot of spiritual talks.
We have so many conversations in the gym. We should just record them all.
I was going to say, guys, if you can imagine, this is how we are all the time. This is actually what helped us say, okay, we should just do a podcast because we're constantly talking about relationships and marriages and God.
And maybe it'll help somebody.
And maybe it'll help someone because it helps us. So we figured we'd share it.
Well, I like how it says, how does that compare to when you first started dating? Right? If you find you would rather spend time with friends or alone than with your spouse, something needs to change.
That's pretty interesting because, again, that's one of those things that could be taking place and you're kind of just filling in the blank with something else other than your spouse. Because you don't even recognize why you're doing it. Because if you're having fun with your spouse and you guys are firing on all cylinders, you're going to want to spend time with them.
Right.
And if that desire is not there to do that and you want to do it somewhere else, I start to say big red flag. But that is something that's saying, okay, we've gotten too complacent. We've got to kind of kick this up a little bit and bring some fun and excitement back into a relationship. And guys, there are so many different things you can do for fun in your relationship. And if you don't know, talk to a friend, godly friend, because you won't do anything crazy. Or hop on Google, right, and look for healthy date ideas within your circle.
Hey, we got to be real. Google is our friend.
Well, I don't know if he's our friend, but he's definitely a distant relative that we can call and talk to.
Google has a lot of answers for us when it comes to getting ideas of how to have
ideas,
fun.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but not our place for truth all the time.
So, not talking things through.
What do you mean by that?
Okay. And this is huge when conflict arises in a relationship.
That's a good point.
You don't know how to talk through stuff anymore. You don't know how to talk about stuff, how to come to a healthy resolve of conflict. Like that starts to erode the relationship because people start to stuff things that they should be talking about.
I just want to point this part out because this is really good.
Yeah.
Spouses that value the relationship work on resolving conflict. Spouses that value the relationship work on resolving conflict.
Yeah.
If you are a spouse and you see conflict, you should want to resolve that conflict. Like that should be a desire.
Look at this part. It says spouses being complacent in a relationship won't pour much effort into communicating about the issue.
That's another big thing to look at.
Basically, you don't care.
You should care.
But that's what they're talking about. Basically, you're in that place. I don't care.
And again, you've become complacent. And guys, again, all these things that we're sharing with you guys, it's not to beat up your spouse. It's not to say, hey, listen to this podcast and look at all this. And you're like,
Well, this is just identifying those points to help you identify if you're in that place of complacency in your marriage so you can do something about it.
Again, self-reflection.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get at. This is self-reflection for you. If God has you listening to this podcast,
this might be for you.
It's probably for you. I'm just saying. That's probably what's happening.
Right.
Lean in.
Yeah.
and take some heart, take some inventory.
Yeah, don't be that person that's sitting back listening to this, taking some notes to take back to your spouse. Look, they were talking about you today.
Yeah, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not going to help the complacency in your relationship.
Next one is lack of attention.
Talk to me about it.
Oh, Lord. With so many things happening throughout the day, sometimes couples miss each other. Like they're not paying attention to what the other person is needing. They're not serving each other anymore.
Yeah.
So, again, another sad place to be, because this is the closest person to you. Outside of God, it's the closest person to you. And if you're not really paying attention, you need to definitely do something about that.
Well, before we go to the next point, like, if you're not paying attention to your spouse, somebody else will. I'm just going to say it. If you're not paying attention to your spouse, someone else will. Don't leave that door open.
Yep. The enemy's good about that. The enemy's good about providing those things for you when your spouse isn't meeting those needs.
Lock your doors, close your windows. Lock your doors, take your wife, I don't know, something. But close it up. Don't leave that door open. And
right.
The next one we're going to share with you guys, and this is a big one, and I didn't, this has been landing with me a little different because of the show we've been watching at night, and it is, you no longer discuss future plans. Because of the show we're watching, and we talked about it before, Married at First Sight, the couples that are not talking about the future after decision day, it's kind of most of an indicator that they probably won't be together because they don't even want to talk about future plans.
Right.
Because they have no plans in the future to be together.
Well, but how much of that is really for the show so everybody can, like, tune in?
I'm not saying it's not, but what I'm saying is this is a good point in your relationship.
For sure.
Something to be aware of, to understand, like, if we're not talking about things in the future, like, for us, it's, man, when we get old, and I don't mean like old now, but I mean like old, we would love to be on a cabin in the woods, up in the Tennessee mountain, like, just enjoying life, old, gray hair, rocking on our rocking chairs, me playing the banjo, and you giving me some sweet iced tea. But like, there's a future plan there. Like, we're planning in that future, and it brings, again, that excitement.
Yeah.
If you're not talking about the future together, you've gotten complacent. Like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's missing.
Yeah. Heck, we talk about the future all the time.
We do.
Because we got one kid left that we're still raising. And we talk all the time about, hey, what does the future look like for us about when, our son's ready to go to college? Like, we told him, it's a funny story. We told him because he was like, are you going to be sad, since I'm the last one when I go to college? I'm like, heck no. We are going to have a vacation planned at the moment we drop you off.
Yeah, we're going to drop you off at school, and then we're heading to the airport.
Yeah.
Because we're out of here.
And he's kind of like, what? I'm like, hey, I mean, come on.
We still have a phone. You can give us a call.
Seriously.
We may not pick up, but
we are planning for boatloads of fun.
Leave a voicemail.
Okay.
Yeah, and about planning is super important. I'm already planning dinner for tonight, so I've already got that coming down
Love
the pipe.
it. That's why I love you, baby.
Wait a minute. What are we making? I probably shouldn't have spoke up on that. So, with that being said, this whole battling complacency in marriage, I know we're trying to give a little lighter side of this because this can be pretty heavy stuff. Like, if you're in a relationship and you're recognizing, hey, we are seeing some of these signs of complacency. Don't fret. Like, there's things that you can do. And we've kind of sprinkled some of this stuff throughout, like some ideas to kind of offset some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But every one of these things is important. Like, take the list, look at it, and just do a self-reflection. Is this an area of our relationship that we've become complacent? And if it's something you recognize, take it to your spouse in love and share that with him.
Yeah.
Hey, I've noticed. Do you think it might be possible we can kind of kick it up in this area?
Yeah, you need to change your mindset altogether when it comes to your marriage and changing the course of your marriage.
100%.
And another one, we can't leave everybody off without telling them you have to compliment each other, appreciate each other more. Look for the good things in your spouse because they're there. Other things try to crowd the space, right? Distractions. Look for those good things that you can compliment and be grateful for. Think about what your life would be like if your spouse was no longer with you.
That's a good one because that helps you be grateful
Yeah.
for the gift that God has given you, right? You may not feel it all the time, but that doesn't change the fact your spouse is a gift.
Yeah.
There's someone out there right now that is praying for a spouse.
Absolutely. And someone out there that has lost their spouse
That's true.
and is thinking about all those times that they had together.
Yeah, don't
take it for granted.
Don't take it for granted. Don't miss the opportunity. Don't become lazy. Don't become selfish. Like, these are all things that are going to work against your relationship.
Yeah, think about it. Would I love dating me right now? If you're in this space, would I love to be dating myself?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about that one. Sorry, I'm going to think about it. I never really thought about it that way. What are you looking at me with those eyes?
Because you're doing pretty good. I'm good with you. Like, we have a great time together. We have lots of laughs.
We do laugh a lot.
God has definitely blessed us, but we've also done our part in putting the work in to maintain and to keep the spark alive.
Well, yes, we're very, very
intentional.
Okay. You're going to repeat.
Super intentional.
You're finishing all my sentences. Yes.
Because we're one.
We are one.
See, I just knew what you were going to say. So I was just,
What?
Stop it.
But yeah, be super intentional, It doesn't happen by accident or by chance. Great relationships happen when people put the work in.
Yes.
It's a blessing and a benefit of putting the work in. If you don't like where your relationship is at, where are you going to put the work at? This helps identify where you can address that work to get the most focus, to get the best return for the work that you're putting in. And ultimately, guys, can't do it without God. Like, God will open your eyes so you can receive these truths
100%
with humility, right? And then find an action plan to put it into practice to help bring that life back into your relationship.
Yeah, God will help you shake up that routine and do something different. He will open your eyes to the truth so you guys can do something different. Amen. Because He is the biggest proponent for your marriage.
Yeah. So guys, if you're noticing this complacency, today's the day that you step onto the battlefield and get ready to fight for your marriage and kick complacency out the front door and lock it and not let it back in.